I'm not about all the drama and stuff. She didn't want to put it out for everybody to hear because it was specifically to her. But she didn't know she was coming. And when she said, "You're supposed to be an author," and I think it was Fufu, she was saying, "You're supposed to be a best-selling author and you're supposed to be a singer." She said that when True went in the backyard, that's when they had that little conversation. And she was trying to tell her that, but she couldn't give her the full message because the devil, I mean, it's his job to get in the way of stuff like that.
You talking about
But
True?
that's what that girl was there for.
When you say devil, you talking about True?
Yes.
Right, I get what you're saying. Right. That is his
She
job.
was there to give Zoka that message. Now, if Zoka would have received that message the way God intended for her to, Zoka probably would have left. That's why he got in the way.
I get it.
So a lot of people was confused. So that's why I wanted to explain it to people, because I got family members that operate in that gift. So I know what I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I heard. So I just wanted everybody to understand that. That was it.
Okay. I appreciate you for coming up and speaking that and explaining the position of that young lady. Um, I do really appreciate that.
Yeah, because I could tell she didn't want no problems.
Right.
But a
And
lot of
True was
people
taking it.
were saying she was a fan and
Right. But
all kinds of stuff.
let's not worry about what people would think. Who cares? People talk about me all the time. I don't care. You see, I'm still up here,
Yeah,
right? And I know I feel the vibes of people not liking me in the community. But that's not gonna stop me from doing my videos. You just don't have to come here and watch me. But it's not about the people. But a lot of people like Natural Herb said all things Natural Herb. I wasn't confused. I peep game. Yeah, True is there to be a distraction. And see,
yeah,
he's a hurt soul. He don't want to see. He's not really protecting them. He's really destroying them. And you know what I'm saying?
right,
So, and they
right,
look at it like he's a protector. No, he's a hurt man. He's a bitter man. So if
yeah.
Nature Boy puts him in
And you can
that
see
position,
it. He's just so disrespectful to
yeah,
everybody.
Nature Boy put him
Ev-
in position to be a protector, but really he's using that to be a demon. He's not
Really,
being protected.
he really
He's
is.
not protecting them. He's holding them down. That's what he holding them
Right,
down in a bad way. I'm not talking about holding them
right.
down like got their back. He got their back way back.
Mm,
So I just wanted to point out a couple of things that I thought that was a little bit awkward and strange. And I don't think that it's in good taste that Nature Boy has them up here talking about the Willie letter. I'm not gonna say the whole word because that is controversial. And it's a topic that I know is probably not accepted on a lot of social media circuits. So we're gonna abbreviate that situation in that word. I don't understand why they are trying to teach this to the community. I don't understand the whole cleanup process that has taken place. I think that they're trying to bring up the Willie, um, letter because they feel as though it will resonate with the black community, and that's how they'll get donation. It's a hustle, but it doesn't look good for Nature Boy's case one way or another. And before I get started, I had just figured out the 6th is on Sunday, so Monday has to be the day of his They are miseducated. Exactly. The 7th has to be the day of his bond hearing and whatever else they're bringing him into court for. But this is a live commentary. So we will be talking throughout this live about this, like Olson said, miseducated situation here. And they're doing it for cash apps. It's the 7th, yeah. I figured that out after somebody had said it was a 6th. People say, oh, you're so into this Natureboy situation. Well, if I was so into it, I would sure enough know what day exactly when his trial was, or bond hearing, or whatever he's gonna have. So yeah, the 6th is Monday. My bag. The 5th is Sunday. But they're saying that the trial is on, says no, June 6th is Monday. Yeah. So they're saying that it's on the 7th. And I had my husband call the clerk's office. You know how they pass the buck on everything. So I don't know. But like I said, stay tuned. If y'all get some information before me, just, holler at me. And put it in my DMs. A lot of people put a lot of stuff in my DMs on IG. And if you get some up-to-date information, because it is the weekend, I kind of start slacking towards the end of the week. I don't really go in that hard. Like today, I took a nap, which I don't like taking naps because then I can't sleep at night. But I'm taking these herbal supplements. Then you can read all the ingredients in them. And honey, I take them like a half an hour to an hour before I go to bed, and I'm out like a light. And even if I get up to use the restroom 4 or 5 times, because I drink a lot of liquids during the day, I can literally go back. And lay back down and fall back into a deep sleep and have a couple of dreams. This is how good this supplement is that I'm taking for sleep. And when I wake up rested. Hey, happy Friday. Thank y'all for coming through. I love y'all. And I also want to say I appreciate y'all for tuning in to the new content. I'm about to switch everything up how I present my commentary videos. I'm going to do a lot of lives like I have been doing. I've been kind of good in 2022 keeping up on the lives. Y'all got to give me credit for that, because I can start doing lives and then I slack right off. But no, I'm not gonna do that. I try to do the live stream marathon in the morning. So if you miss anything, you don't have to worry about it, because I run a live that next morning. That live is there for y'all to communicate with each other. You know what I'm saying, in a respectful manner, and put two heads are better than one. So and then we can put together what's going on in this community. And there's a lot of wool being pulled over our eyes, and we have to, as a collective, stick together, man. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much, Dorothy. So as y'all come in, I just ask that you just hit the like button, especially the people in the chat. Those are the ones, definitely the ones that come into the chat that support me by interacting in these lives. Make sure y'all hit that like button, please. And also the people that are looking in the bushes back at the ranch. They're trying to paint a picture to the local authorities, people that are looking at this stuff, like they are on board with obeying their man. And if they get out of hand, discipline is needed in order to keep them in check. They're making it seem like they signed up for this. I want you to pay attention to what they're saying around the community and in these downloads that they do. They are trying to make or paint a picture of that no one is not, people are, if they're getting abused, they signed up for it, or they feel as though in their community that's the law in their community, not the law outside of the law, like the courthouse and the judges, DAs, but in their world, that is what happens. That is what is accepted when they're not being obedient. And this is why I feel as though they need to go home. But I didn't understand what I was reading it. I didn't understand or comprehend what I was reading. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're reading it. They sound so clear and smooth reading this Willie book, because I'm not saying the last part of it. And they don't understand what that book stands for. They don't understand none of what that book is about. They're just like robots listening to Natureboy tell them to spew this mess across social media for donations. And that's the only reason why they're up there. None of these people care about you. They don't care about themselves. So how are they going to care about you? None of these people care about you. And I'm going to say it again. They just want your money. They just want to be able to have money to give Natureboy Canteen and pay for his phone calls. And if True ends up going crazy and runs off into the woods because he's looking like Fire Marshal Bill now, always doing downloads in the forest, which we know he's in the backyard, with a backpack on, like he's going hiking. If he checks out, they're going to need those donations to pay that rent, because none of them get any type of income as far as cash benefits to live. They only get food stamp benefits. Let True leave today, and you'll see them, I bet you, at McDonald's with the on one of them apps eating chicken McNuggets. They'll be serving food through the drive-through, and they'll be, you know what? And they'll be working, because if True left today, they wouldn't have no money to support themselves. How would you pay that rent? Who would come down and help you? Santa Claus? The fairy godmother? Who would help pay your rent? Who would do it? You would have to get a job at Walmart or at McDonald's or Wendy's, because if True left, you wouldn't have any money to take care of yourself. So you don't make any sense what you're saying. And Malia, didn't you leave a Walmart job? And besides leaving your son, you also left a Walmart job just to be with Natureboy? And now you're up here talking all this mess? Girl, bye. Trust me, right now, Natureboy is eating his words that a woman should not be working a job. That's not her place in society, is what he tries to preach, right? She's supposed to be barefooted in the kitchen making babies. Well, honey, if True bails out of this situation right now, they're going to have to get jobs, okay? It might be Rainbows, McDonald's, Walmart, wherever. But in order to be able to not be outside living in tents, okay, they're going to have to get jobs. And I know Natureboy might not want to say it, but I bet you right now he wished that he could talk all for he could. He could tell them how he really feels. And one is, you might need to get a job, because I'm not around no more to orchestrate anything. And I can't put 100% into True that he's going to be able to do it. So, stop the madness. Yeah, you guys don't call the police. Malia just runs outside in a private community where they're already sick of you and they see everything you do. You run outside, which is, you might as well have called the police, Malia. Then you have the rest of the stooges running behind you like they're in the projects, slapping you upside your head and bullying you down the street. She didn't have to call the cops, because that little thing that Malia did was going to have the neighbors calling the cops. So they're full of it. When they get into a situation with Natureboy where they feel like he's about to go upside their head or have the other women jump on each other, oh, trust me, there's ways that even if they don't pick up the phone and call the cops get there. So they need to stop with that nonsense, because every time Aaliyah is about to get whooped on, She runs outside, and the neighbors call the cops, and then then the next thing you know, ding dong, they're right at the door. That's why the spot is hot now, because of Malia. She's one of the reasons why they do them wellness checks, because she's getting abused more than all of them in there. So what they're trying to say is that before Natureboy got locked up, they were living a normal life. When you got a man who lines you guys up, and she been standing next to, say, 𝗪𝗛𝗪, and he just orders her to stand up and just slap 𝗪𝗛𝗪 for no reason. Only reason why Sheba is slapping 𝗪𝗛𝗪 is because Natureboy ordered her to. Or you see Natureboy with a ski mask on in the rain doing the Vogue like he got sugar in his tank. And even got the other men doing it like they practiced that Vogue dance in the rain. They was strutting harder than a woman. Even did a split like they practiced that dance routine. This is normal. This is who you call your master teacher. This is what the future should look like. This is how all men who are supposed to be providers to women are supposed to move in society. They go out into the rain with a ski mask on, and then they just get one with their feminine side, and they start voguing in the rain, doing splits in the street, getting the neighbors to call the cops on them. This is what they do. Getting drunk and having nervous breakdowns as a man because he cannot drink. He's one of them type of men. He's worse than a woman when he drinks. This man is crazy. He needs help. He's nothing to represent. He's someone to get away from. We know you would know about all that, because prior to you going to Carbonation, quiet as kept, you was a street worker. So I'm quite sure they came and did their rounds of police, and if you wasn't, if you was still on the block and they knew that you was out there making some money, they probably put your hands on that hood too, and gave you citations and told you if they seen your butt strutting down that street for $5 one more time, you was going to jail. So you would know. They forget that part. How much respect did they receive when they were passed around to all the men at his whim? Exactly. They forget that part. They're representing this man like he's a real man. A real man don't pass you around. He don't pass his queen around to another man to try out. And they all have one time or another been passed around at the convenience of Natureboy. Even Malia, who was the queen, he didn't even do that to Velvet. And she's repping for this man. And all he did was pass her around and dog her out. She is the most messed up one in that camp, Malia. Allegedly, they're saying she can't even have babies because of when he brought her back to her family, when he kicked her out, they had to take her uterus out, allegedly. So if you don't have a uterus, you can't have any kids. That's how messed up she is at 24, 25 years old. That he just destroyed her life. And she's sitting up here instead of going home because she has had time to sit with herself. She want to sit here and be caping for this man. Why don't you utilize the natural resources and stop getting up here talking about something you don't believe in? And why don't you go and stop begging? Because I don't understand why you need cash apps and donations, because you can live off the land. You can utilize the land and live holistically without using any of Babylonians' funds or resources. Matter of fact, give up your food stamps and plant a garden and grow your own potatoes and fruits and potatoes and vegetables or whatever. Live off the land. If you prefer to eat meat, get your own cows and your birds and ducks and all this other stuff. Honestly, really sad how they really buy into this BS. These girls are actually being really mistreated badly. I don't understand. I mean, they're just so lost. They remind me of relationships. You know, when you're with I'm a woman, so I can only, describe a woman in a relationship with a man. It's toxic, it's mentally abuse, physical abuse, and you know that it's not good for you, but because you're so used to that situation, you stay in it. And that's what they're doing. They're staying in this situation. They're so used to it. It's almost like when people don't know what love is, they subject themselves to this kind of behavior. They make excuses up for this kind of behavior when we know that they're not supposed to be living like this. They're making it seem like we're the crazy ones. Like, what they're saying makes sense and what we're saying is crazy. They have a man who has an extensive background of generational curses. And he's trying to do the misery likes company. He's trying to make them think that, they come from a generational curse too. This man literally told these women, if you want to be in my life, you have to leave your children. I was raised, my mother said, if you have a child with another man and you meet another man, because the man you had that child with, you don't make it with him. You move on, you have a relationship with another man. A man is supposed to take your child as a package deal. That means if he loves you, he's going to accept your child. He's not going to say, in order for us to be in a relationship, you have to leave all your worldly possessions and give your child to the baby's father because it can't come over here. What man says that to a woman that carried a child for 9 months to leave their child to sacrifice being with you, give up everything to be with you? And on top of that, I come over there and you mistreat me. And my child is a toddler or a teen or whatever, and now they don't have their mother because I'm playing mother, servant, mistress, side chick, and everything else to you. And when you get good and ready, you pass me along. I don't get that. Why did you leave your real life to be treated like that? Why don't you know the difference? I don't care what struggle you had prior to going to combination. I don't think it was as bad as it is now. I don't care how messed up your mind was prior to going to combination. I don't think it's as messed up as it is now. You've given your whole life and everything it stood for a man that it's not even about you, it's about him. He's a man that doesn't want a woman to be a woman. He doesn't want a woman to even have a plan B. What happened to coming to the table 50-50? Not even feeling as though I'm a woman, a man's supposed to take care of me, but let's come to the table together 50-50 and take care of each other. That's not the kind of relationship Natureboy has with these women. So why do they feel like they're so obligated to ride for him in time of need? And just a few weeks ago, he was ordering Zoka to slap Malia upside her head when they were massaging his feet. And then a few weeks before he got arrested, Malia left the house. Lord knows what was happening prior to Malia leaving the house. Malia goes down the street. Natureboy orders the women to go down the street. And you know that they were going to jump her if given the order. They're jumping all up in her face, snatching things off of her, scaring her mentally. Because behind closed doors, we all know, and it's been confirmed, these women are putting hands on her. And she's the sickest one out the whole bunch. She's supposed to be the queen, the head of the women, but Natureboy, because he don't want to get his hands dirty no more, he orders the other women to put hands on Malia so he stays out of trouble. See, God don't like ugly because you did all that and you still got in trouble. Because you're locked up now. If they pull these people in, play a little game with these people and start throwing out numbers, oh, they'll squeal. Malia might even tell, yeah, he was abusing me. And ain't no telling what True would squeal and say, because I know True can't do not even a day in jail. The only ones that left were the ones that really have common sense. The ones that we thought that didn't have common sense, right along with the women in True, they're the ones that showed, oh, we have common sense. And we're going to use common sense and get up out of here. And all of his disciples, which happened to be the men who left first, left him hanging. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Did you hear about Solar? Allegedly, there's a warrant for Solar's arrest. Because Solar did comply with the orders to speak to 𝗪𝗫𝗧 to see if he could get 𝗪𝗫𝗧 to change her mind. 𝗪𝗫𝗧 obviously told the local authorities that Solar got in contact with her, but Natureboy. So what I'm saying to you is that's what makes it make sense now why Solar went to Mexico. It also makes sense why Solar left. That was his reason for leaving. If he would have stayed around, he'd be right behind bars with Natureboy. And I'm quite sure they would have, fought to get him out. But Natureboy's first priority. So who knows how long Solar would be sitting? Because all that money, that alleged $60,000 that was left after Solar left, Solar said in an interview there was $60,000 left, or a little over $60,000 of Natureboy's money left. Natureboy's not using that for no legal team or no legal attorney for no Solar. He gonna make sure he gets out before Solar, if he's even gonna get out. But that's why Solar left. That is why Solar left. And I believe that's why a lot of them left, because you're guilty by association. And my grandmother used to tell me years ago, back in the day, if you were with somebody that committed a crime, sometimes you could get more time than the person that committed the crime just because you was with them. My grandmother used to tell me this years ago, when she used to stay on me for being Mrs. Fast Behind. Because girls get in trouble too. They get locked up too, following behind misfits. People trying to fit in, followers. There's a reason why those disciples left. I'm quite sure they would have been placed somewhere else because Natureboy don't want them around the women. But I knew there was a reason for them leaving. A lot of them left because they did not want to be arrested right alongside with Solar, because the local authorities know that these people know more than what they say they know. And if the local authorities wanted to really go conspiracy, thank you. Yep. And people don't know you can get charged. They're not, listen, the local authorities see the videos. They see how the house is set up, how it's run, because he puts it all on social media. They all know what's going on over there behind closed doors in that house. They all see what's going on. They all hear what's going on. I think right now the local authorities are being really nice, because they all could have been kept in custody. They could have even charged them as co-defendants. Put a Y in the chat if you know what a co-defendant is. A co-defendant, to me, I always looked at it like, is the person who committed the crime. If you were there when they committed the crime, they robbed the bank or whatever the situation is, then you go down with him. And they did not want to, they didn't want to go down with him, so they left. That's the only reason why they left. Even Jax, I think he was like the last to go. Jax was. He was riding with True for a little second. Jax left. He went to stay with his mother, but he's still pushing 3. Jax will be back over at Carbonation if Natureboy ever gets out. I'll tell you a few of them. Jax is one of them. Musa, he'll be back over there. Soon as the coast is clear and Natureboy explains that the coast is clear, majority of them disciples will be back. Natureboy ain't mad at some of them that left because he don't want them around the women anyways. They would have probably been placed somewhere else anyways because he's not going to have all those men around his woman. Only one he would have had around his woman would have been Solar and probably True. No 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. But they left because they could be charged with conspiracy. Yeah, the coast ain't clear. It isn't. Because you can run, but you can't hide. And all you do is make yourself look guilty when you run. So I don't know what Solar's going to do, but if I was him, I would have used my head. And I would have said, Natureboy ain't fitting to get me up into this mess that he got himself into. Now, Solar, the coast would have been probably clear for him if he never would have called Nateri, but he did. Because that is how deep the brainwash is. Now he done put himself in the mix. And Natureboy's not the brightest bulb on the tree, because why would you say that on a recorded line? I'm quite sure when he said it, they waited for maybe a week or so. And then they probably called Nateri and said, did any of the Carbonation members contact you? Because there's a phone recording of Natureboy ordering Solar to contact you and talk you out of testifying. So that's why Solar's in Mexico. And Solar, let me tell you something, Solar. I hope you're listening. You've been on a lot of interviews and you try to detach yourself from Natureboy. I see why now. One, you're mad but you really should be mad at yourself. Because should no man put in your mind, you already see he's in enough trouble. Sometimes we have to use common sense and get up off this stupidness that you're on. And you've had time to sit with yourself. When you're around somebody that's bat-ish crazy like Natureboy, even 60 minutes of him being gone would give somebody enough time to sit with themselves and say, is this where I want to be? Is this the kind of life I want to have for myself? You still had time when you knew he was locked up and wasn't getting out no time soon to make that decision whether or not you was going to make that phone call for Natureboy and put yourself in the middle of it. It says, SL, can I explain that pull up to the people? Pull up to the, what do you mean? You want to come up on the chat, Shay, go? I'm not understanding what you're saying. So, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show that, people get manipulated and they make the wrong decisions, and it could cost you your freedom or your life. And see, that explains the anger that Solar has, but he really should have it with himself, because some things are just common sense. and they try to act like they're so intelligent.